Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Phil with Electricom's Project Management. Today we're talking with Steve. We're looking at mentorship and training and how it affects our retention in the field. Steve, would you mind talking for a second about how mentorship and training really affects our retention rates in the field?
Sure, we see a direct correlation with folks that get their arms around employees, talk to them about what it is that they want to do and how they want to grow and what they want to develop into at Electricom. If we can have that conversation with folks and make sure that we're getting their interests and that communication and their desires recognized, we have a much greater propensity to keep them on board beyond, a 45-day, 90-day window.
What's significant about the 45 and 90-day window?
Our turnover, we have a lot of turnover in that first couple of weeks, especially at the laborer level, within the first 2 to 3, 4 weeks. And sometimes if we can get to that 45-day window, then when we're starting to talk to them about benefits, then we see that turnover rate start to dramatically reduce.
Is there a lot of costs associated with that high turnover in that first 2 to 4 weeks?
Oh, is there? You've got, from the time you start recruiting and you bring somebody in to getting them onboarded, you think about their vest and their hard hat, their drug screens, the background checks, all those things have costs. But the biggest cost is somebody in the field with the ROI on missed productivity time. So think about the foreman that has to train somebody again on here's what we're doing, here's how to put a handhold in, this is what this looks like. Not only their own time, but the productivity that we're missing out with the customers. So yeah, there is a huge cost to turnover. And if we can get even just incrementally better at getting people on board, the right person on board, and making sure that we're communicating with them about expectations, if we can do just a little bit, the yield will be so great in terms of cost, in terms of ease on their foreman, in training time.
You've talked about the 45 to 90 day mark keeping employees. We're looking at somewhere between 4 and 8 people turning over a year if you don't get your arms around them soon enough. That's a lot of time spent on the foreman level training those new hires to get them able to do the work that we're doing. And from what you were saying on the dollars, that's exponential on the amount that we're spending just to have temporary help that doesn't have the long-term benefit of learning how to do the work that we do.
So you said 4 to 8 times turnover throughout the course of the year. That's thousands of dollars every time there's turnover. So thousands of dollars times 4 to 8 times a year, that's a lot.
And that's on the single crew level. So if we start extrapolating that and talking even larger scale, the dollars seem to get very big.
It would be a huge impact just to be able to turn down that turnover number 10%, 5%.
And if we can keep guys in the field and show them how much success do we see turning a laborer into a operator or an operator into a foreman, do we see a lot of success with that?
If you can have that kind of growth with an employee and they see a path forward, absolutely. Because every time they make that next step, they're not brand new to the organization. The time to invest in them decreases on the foreman side to train them. But yeah, giving them that mobility to move up from a laborer to an operator or an operator into a foreman is a huge benefit to both the organization and the employee.
And a lot of that comes from getting our arms around them in that first 45 to 90 days, letting them know that they're part of the Electricom team, Electricom family, and wrapping our arms around them and saying, you have a path forward with us.
It's talking to them, getting the communication started early and often with them, asking them at the end of every day, how's it going? What are some of the things that you're finding as a challenge? Let's talk about that. Let's see if we can figure that out. Make sure that we've put people with them that are good mentors, that are good at and patient to show them how to dig around utilities with a shovel, how to do some of these other things, and not be critical. Because all of us started out one day brand new, didn't know what we were doing.
I can say, talking with some of the foremen in the field, I would not have known that there was a wrong way to use the shovel. And it's surprising to me that we expect people to come off the street knowing how to use the shovel when it's something so different from what we grew up with.
Right. In my own personal experience, digging around a utility, never thought about it myself and digging away, and I realized that's such an important foundational piece for our employees is to learn that first part is, here's a shovel and here's how our utilities are marked. to talk to folks about here's how you would dig around power versus what you would water or a gas line.
I think it's great. Really, I think there's a lot we can do to help mentor the new employees and get that communication going. So work with your crews and try and help that retention rate. Make it so that the recruiting piece doesn't have to work as hard to fill those needs. And I think we'll see a lot of growth within what we're doing. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment below. And thanks again.
Have a good day. Thanks.